Hello, and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. It's been a while. I'm John Green, and I'm the manager of AFC Wimbledon, the Wimbly Womblys. They're a bunch of Time Lords, and we are at the tail end of the season. I feel like I need to give you all a quick update. As you can see, we wear DFTBA on our shorts. Here's the quick update. We're in the FA Cup. I think we're at Wembley. We are. We're in the semifinals of the FA Cup. If we win this game, we go to the finals of the FA Cup, which would be amazing. Also, it would be a nice cash infusion. Furthermore, some updates. I don't even know if all of the players who are currently on the team were on the team the last time you watched, but we have 3 games left in the season. We're in the second tier of English football. We have a chance to go to the first tier of English football, which is called the Premier League. It's very exciting, and also we have a chance to win the FA Cup. So what a season it has been, potentially. We've got John Green and John Green starting up front. As you can see, John Green had a hat trick in the last game. Don't know which one. They weren't very specific. I'm going to solve some problems from people who donated to the Project for Awesome, beginning with Joy's problem, which is as follows. How do I stop this feeling of impending doom and dread I have regarding climate change? I try my best to live my values and push my government to action, but I can't get rid of this sinking feeling that we're on a long slope to disaster. Oh, we are. That's why you have the sinking feeling. And when I feel this way, I feel this weird regret about having a child. I mean, I love my kid so dearly and would never want a world without her, but who was I to have a child and leave her with this impending climate crisis? So first off, I don't think it's a good idea to stop investing in humanity because of the climate crisis. As you can see, we're starting Anoma and John Green Nate Bennett up top. We've got Frankham and Woodburn on the wings, Benny Woodburn. We've got Oreo Baskets in central defensive midfield. We've got our best team. And then, of course, we've got Hodor in goal. He's going to hold the door for us. I believe in him. Have you guys been watching Game of Thrones? No spoilers. It's so hard to make a show good. It's just hard. Nobody talks about that. Like, nobody talks about the fact that the reason George R.R. Martin has struggled to write the last 2 books of the series is that it's really, really hard. Oh, God. We are getting played off the pitch. By the way, I don't really remember how to play FIFA, so this could be a learning experience for all of us. And I know that many of you will be like, don't remember how to play FIFA, but you never knew. Well, I don't even remember how to play FIFA as poorly as I generally play it. Oh, that was terrible. So I don't believe that, like, the correct response to the climate crisis is to, like, stop having children. I think that we need potential innovators, and that's what children are. They are the innovators of the future. They are the people who are going to help us solve this problem. It is true that we do not have good solutions right now. That was very close to working. To the climate crisis. And it is true that it feels really, really inadequate to do the things that we can do, right? Like, it feels completely inadequate to limit our own electricity usage, or to try not to use gasoline in our cars, or to fly less often. Like, that just feels woefully inadequate in the face of the problem. Because it is inadequate, right? Like that isn't going to ultimately solve the problem. That's to John Green. If he's onside, it's a goal. And he's onside, but it's off the post. Unbelievable drama. We almost had the goal. We almost had the opening goal despite being so bad at FIFA. Turn and shoot! Oh my God! We're going to the finals of the FA Cup if we can just hold on to this lead. Yes! Yes! I don't know what you just did, but it was... God, that is an ugly mustache. My Lord. My Lord. That is a mustache. The problem is big, we are small, and anytime and climate change is probably the biggest problem humanity has ever faced. It's certainly the problem that is most likely to affect all of us. I don't think it's going to ruin I just don't believe it's going to ruin your child's life. I think it is going to be a big problem. Very, very big problem, but I also think that it is a problem that we are going to solve. I don't think that this is the end of the human story. And maybe that is a little bit, I don't know if that's like overly optimistic of me, or if that's like easy for me to say in my position of such privilege, but that's what I believe. I believe that, like, the end of the human story, what a fantastic bit of play. The end of the human story is is not that global temperatures rise by 3 degrees Celsius and human life becomes unbearable. I think that we still can limit climate change to 1.5 or 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels. I think that there will be big consequences to even that level of climate change, but I don't think that this is the end of humanity. And I don't, and here's the other thing, and this is like the foundational concept of my personal philosophy, and I'm happy to acknowledge that this is a, like, quasi-religious way of looking at the world, because I am religious. Oh God, Hodor, oh God, yes, you should be ashamed. Squat in embarrassment. I believe that despair is not useful. Like, I don't think that it works. I don't think that it makes life better. And so that doesn't prevent me from feeling despair, God knows. But it does prevent me from thinking that despair is a, like, desirable or easily justifiable thing to feel. Like, even if despair is correct, it's not utilitarian. Like, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't lead me where I need to be, which is in a place of action, a place of wanting to figure out what, if anything, I can do while I'm here, to help the people I'm here with. And despair doesn't get me there. Hope gets me there. I happen to think that we have reason to be hopeful when it comes to climate change. I think that it's a huge challenge. I think that humans are really, really bad at solving for long-term problems, and that should concern us, because the biggest challenge we face right now is a long-term problem, not an emergency. Or at least by the time it's an emergency, it will be very difficult to do anything about it. But I still think, oh God, it's off the post again, and now it's oh my God. I still think there's cause for hope. I still think that hope is the correct response. And I still think that, like, ultimately we get more done by being hopeful than by feeling pure despair. Like, oh God, the goal is getting peppered at this point. Thank God for Hodor. I'm going to make that substitution and bring on Dean Parrott, mostly to kill some time. Great job, Frankenstein. I love your performance, and I love your work ethic, and I also love your hair. Dean Parrott coming on doesn't have the best beard in the game, but he's doing his best. So, like, I can't solve the problem of climate change. I can do the things that I can do in my own life, and I can invest, and I can choose who to vote for, which I think actually is a big deal. Get it, go! I think, like, in the end, like, who our leadership is and whether they take this stuff seriously is going to be our legacy for future generations. Like, I think future generations probably won't pay a ton of attention to most of what we did in terms of who we voted for and why. And I think they will pay a lot of attention to what were we doing on a minute-by-minute basis about climate change. And I think, in a lot of cases, the answers will be kind of, like, embarrassingly inadequate. And I think, people will be like, why didn't you? Oh, my God, it's 2-0. It's 2-0. I think people will be like, why didn't you do more about climate change? And the answer will be that, like, there were so many other things that felt important, right? Like, it felt important to get to the finals of the FA Cup. It felt important that we debate the things that we're debating as, in civil discourse in the U.S. today. Like, if you go on Twitter and see what people are outraged about today, very little of it has to do with climate change. And but I think that doesn't. But I think the outrages are still outrageous, and so it's hard to, that makes it very difficult to like focus and concentrate on which problems are our big problems, because we have a lot of problems and they're all quite serious. I think the other that's a big part of, to me, that's a big part of the story, that like we are really bad at solving for long-term problems. And I think we have to get better at that. And I think we have to think harder about that. The other side of this is that the people who will be most deeply affected by climate change are not people who live in rich countries. That's like the people who will be most affected by this are the people who have caused it the least, which is to say, okay, it's 2-1. I'm going to make a third substitution. I'm going to bring on Darius Charles, try to just stiffen up the defense a little bit. Callum Kennedy didn't have the best game I've ever seen in my life. And now we're going to, I mean, obviously we can't like just kill time entirely, but we are trying to get to an FA Cup final. We're overmatched, and I'm just going to do a lot of this. How long till I have to take the throw in? Let's find out. I really sorry, I was trying to play the game, which was a huge mistake. I should just talk. I think that when we think of climate change as a problem of the rich world, and we don't do anything to address the existing inequities in access to healthcare and access to education in almost every part of human life, we make the problems of the coming problems worse. We make the coming problem of, almost got there, and now I'm going to get a red card. That's not fair, okay? He ran into me. Am I going to get a red card, or is it just going to be... I didn't get a red card. Whew. So I think part of the way that we address climate change now is by addressing inequities in health and education globally, because the people who are going to be the most affected by climate change are the people who live in the poorest parts of the world. And so that's obviously a big focus for my brother and me as we think about what kind of work we want to do with the money that we have, and what kind of work we want to focus our community on and stuff like that. But I don't know. I worry sometimes that the way we talk about climate change is so defeatist. It's so like, it doesn't matter anyway. That we forget that, like, this is the only planet. This is our only chance to be a species. Oh my God! This is our only chance. This is our only place to do it. Mars is not a good place to have their goalie is up. That's always terrifying. Get there. Shoot! Oh, I thought that was going to go in the goal and it was going to be an amazing feeling, but it didn't happen. And so we can't afford to have despair. We can't afford to be defeatist, because this is the only place that we get. This is the only world that we get. This is the only life that we get. And so we have to be hopeful, and we have to find cause for hope. And that means innovating, it means changing our priorities, and it means thinking differently about what the point of being a person is. And that's something that we do individually and also as collectives. So I share your feeling of discouragement, but I don't think that this is the end of the story. Just as it's not the end of the story for AFC Wimbledon, who are going to the FA Cup final. Unbelievable scenes, goal line clearances, hitting the post, all manner of astonishments. Thanks for watching. Best wishes.